Germany signals it could halt gas pipeline if Russia invades Ukraine.
Here's a summary of the article.
Berlin, Washington, January 18. Germany signaled on Tuesday that it could halt the Nord Stream 2 pipeline from Russia if Moscow invades Ukraine, and Western nations rallied behind Kiev over a Russian troop buildup that has stoked fears of war. Stepping up diplomacy after talks with Russia ended in stalemate last week, U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken will visit Kiev on Wednesday before heading to Berlin to discuss joint efforts to deter further Russian aggression against Ukraine, with German, British and French officials. As fears of conflict rose, Britain said this week it had begun supplying Ukraine with anti-tank weapons. Canada's foreign minister visited Ukraine and German Foreign Minister Annalena Baerbock held talks in Moscow and Kiev to try to ease tensions. Asked about the pipeline after meeting NATO Secretary-General Jens Stoltenberg, Scholz said it was clear that there will be a high price to pay and that everything will have to be discussed should there be a military intervention in Ukraine. Russia denies plans to attack Ukraine but says it could take unspecified military action unless its demands, including a promise by the NATO alliance never to admit Kiev, are met. U.S. President Joe Biden has ruled out sending U.S. troops to Ukraine to fight Russian soldiers. Visiting Ukraine on Wednesday, Canadian Foreign Minister Melanie Joly said Ottawa would take a decision at the appropriate time on supplying military hardware to Ukraine.
This post received a score of 4,100, with an upvote ratio of 97%. Here are the top comments in response to this article.
Saw a media blurb, just after Merkel stepped down, that if Russia invaded Ukraine, Germany would decertify Nord Stream and shut it down. This is the first news that I have seen that agrees with that.
This is a critical point in the new coalition. The Greens and the Liberals are pro-sanctions and against Nord Stream 2. But then there are the Social Democrats, which is the main supporters of Nord Stream 2. Their former chancellor initiated it in his last days to get a job at Gazprom. They are against defensive weapon deliveries and are saying something like Nord Stream 2 is an economic project and that the aggression is from both sides. Or that this conflict was macked up. They have some Russia sympathies.
Greater than their former chancellor initiated it in his last days to get a job at Gazprom. That's a bit of an understatement. Gerhard Schroeder is currently the chair of the board of Rosneft and the Nord Stream AG. So he is very involved in the whole Nord Stream 2 pipeline. There is a lot more going on, like active SPD politicians using Russian money to circumvent US sanctions regarding Nord Stream 2. It's a really embarrassing mess and not a good look for Germany. Wow, that's American tier corruption. Congrats, Germany.
Greater than Gerhard Schroeder. Yeah, it's pretty bad. He was chancellor from 98 to 05 and introduced Germany to wage dumping, which is a structure that is still in place, albeit heavily debated, and OFC only made the poor poorer and the rich richer. He is the honorary chairman of a German-Russian think tank which still has a lot of political pull. And let's not forget that Rosneft is led by one of Putin's cronies. Could.
My second favorite Alice in Chains song.
What's your first?
Should.
On the next day after further invasion, Germany will say we could, but will not do this, because it's only economical projects.
If Russia invades and Germany doesn't pull the plug on the pipeline, then maybe some old fisherman with a brand new Ferrari will accidentally drag on anchor on a section of the pipe.
Ferrari, we give our friends Shelby's, not that we would ever be involved. No sir, not America.
If there's one thing that is definitely not going to happen over Ukraine, it's Germany choosing to stop deep-throating Russian gas pipe.
Netherlands here. At the moment we complain about having to provide gas to the Germans. But that sentiment might suddenly change if war breaks out.
People here already complain about the tripled gas bill, and that's going to be nothing if Russia cuts off.
This video was automatically created by Reddit to speech. The article and comments in this video were selected from Reddit according to their upvotes, and any paraphrasing was performed by smmry.com, without any human intervention.